Tom? Corey Webster.
Just give me a second here. Yada yada, you know.
Or, okay, or I have, okay, that, or
I got a quick question.
where you start. I'm wondering about still seeing it on here at the top.
Well, I think if we somehow cover.
Hello, my name is Charlotte Codner, and I'm here today as Rosa Parks' boss at the reenactment of the Rosa Parks infamous bus ride.
Hi, I'm Diane Visser, and this is my granddaughter.
I'm Justina Frank, and I'm from Tucson, Arizona.
We're riding the bus, and we're wondering why she sat in the wrong area, so it'll be a good education for my granddaughter to realize what really took place years ago and how we're so glad that it's different now.
This is Tom Ritchie, and we're here at the North Mississippi Regional Park in Minneapolis, and I have with me
Bob Bowersox.
Bob. And what will you be playing today at this?
I am supposed to be a rich Southern gentleman.
And Lee asked you because
We've worked together many times over the years, and we were here last year, and it was an incredible experience. So as soon as it was done, I sent him an email saying I want in next year. So it was difficult.
it was difficult. What was difficult about that?
Well, as you see, we're all hanging out together, and we're getting along, we're talking, we're enjoying each other's company, and then we had to get on the bus, and we had to treat the African American people like they were second-class citizens, and that's so against everyone's nature in today's time that it was really, really hard to do.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's foreign. I use it. It's kind of foreign in your feeling
Oh,
and your thinking.
absolutely.
And this, I'm really excited about the history, to reenact that history
Yes.
for our kids and for everyone. And
You know, I had grown up hearing about Rosa Parks, and what I was taught or what I was led to believe wasn't quite exactly what happened. So it was it wasn't that she was supposed to be in the back of the bus. It was that if she was in the last seat or the first seat behind a row of white people and another white person got on, she was supposed to move and give that person her seat.
I see.
And she didn't, and the reason she didn't, she said she was tired and her feet hurt. And out of that sprung really this whole incredible movement.
So she was just tired and her feet hurt.
Yeah,
And normal people would say, I just want to sit down.
that's
And
all
relax.
she wanted to do.
Yeah.
She had had a hard day at work, and she was tired.
Do you think she realized at that moment what was her repercussions?
I don't know. I don't know if she realized, like all great things that happen in history, the people that are participating in them really don't know that they're creating a great piece of history. So it's quite likely that she didn't realize what was going to stem from all of this. I mean, it was the beginning of Martin Luther King's rise, because he came down and got involved and
Civil rights, the whole civil rights, and a fair amount of things were happening at that time. And being from Minnesota myself, it was quite foreign to me. I watched the movie The Help. Have you seen that also?
I haven't.
Okay. It's very similar in how that plays out. And I think that to reenact this here in the park here, and this is the second year that this has happened.
It's the second year I've been involved.
Okay.
It may have happened. I think this is the second year that we are doing the Rosa Parks. Hopefully it'll quit raining. But
Yes.
I'm an amateur historian, and I like getting history correct,
Yes.
even if it's painful history.
Yes.
But we need to make sure that our children know what history is. I grew up during the civil rights movement. I remember watching the water cannons and the beatings on the news, and I couldn't understand in '63 I was 10.
Yeah.
I just gave away my age.
It's okay.
But I couldn't understand how one group of people could treat another group of people that way. And I don't think it was a northern thing, because there was prejudice up here too. But it was, it's just important that we know what our past is.
So we don't repeat it? If we know the history, are we not going to repeat it?
I would like to think so, but a lot of times I don't think we're that intelligent a species. I see things happening today that I know what happened in the past, and I'm afraid we're going to repeat a lot of the same mistakes we made 60, 70 years ago.
Okay.
And
I'd like to ask you a different question about the Indians in Minnesota.
mm-hmm.
Have you studied that history too? Do you have
Yes.
any commentary on that? Myself, I've done a fair amount.
I don't look it, but I'm a quarter Shawnee, so I'm very sensitive to how the Native Americans were treated. I happen to be attempting to write a novel, and in there, one of the characters comes into southwestern Wisconsin and is befriended by an Indian chief named One-Eyed Decorah from the Winnebago tribe. And they become fast friends, and this man settles on a farm, and his neighbors don't like the natives, but if any native shows up at his doorstep, he gave him work and honest pay and sometimes room and board, never turned anybody away that needed help, and actually brought in an Indian couple to help run the farm. And that character is based on my great-grandfather. And he said that, he didn't say it to me because he was dead before I was born, but he had told my mother that he could not harm the Native Americans because he had been born in Scotland and firsthand witnessed what the English had done to the Scots. And he would never be a party to treating another group of people like that. So
That is fascinating.
So in my book, I did some research on how the Winnebagos fought with the United States government against Black Hawk, but they were still deported anyway.
Yes.
And they were sent to North Dakota, they came back, they were sent to another part of Minnesota, and they still went back. And they loved their land around La Crosse, Winona so much that they refused to be pushed away from it. So.
That's very interesting, and I'm fascinated. I really want to see the novel. When were you finishing it about?
Well, I think it's done. My editor says it isn't, and my editor wants me to take some things out that I want to keep in, and I want to take some things out that she wants me to keep in. So I'm working with a couple different publishers now to see.
A final question, if I may.
Sure.
It's when you examine or look at the way the American Indians were treated way back when, and some of that history that you just described, do you see parallels between that and Negroes in America and what they kind of went through?
I do see parallels, because whenever you have, and I'm not being an apologist for the whites, but whenever you're the dominant culture, you are going to treat whatever group you think is inferior to you, you're going to treat them poorly. Great example of that is Nazi Germany, and who today are the Jews are still the scapegoat throughout much of the world today. And I have a real problem with people treating people that way.
So we're just kind of people trying to make it through the day the best we can, aren't we? Or
I don't think that. I would like to think that this world has become a place where people don't take advantage of others or discriminate against others. There's still racism in this country, but it's from all directions.
sure.
It's not just whites picking on this group or that group, but it's this group and that group coming back and not liking the whites as a whole. And I don't think you can condemn a group of people as a whole. I'm friends with Lee Jordan, who puts this on.
Okay.
I consider him a very close friend. He's black. How could I condemn him for that? It's not possible.
Just for the skin color.
Yeah, I never have understood that. I was raised to treat every person as an individual.
That's great. And I'm really glad that you're here to participate.
Oh, I am too.
And I'm looking forward to a lot of the fun that's going to be happening here on the bus in a few minutes. If it stops raining.
If it quits raining.
This fun Minnesota weather that we're having, right?
Last year we were cut. We wrapped and walking back to the car, and a deluge came in and soaked to the skin on the way back to the car. So, hoping that it's going to get better. And it looks like it's clearing a little bit off to the west.
It does, and I do hope it does. Yeah. Again, thank you so much for your time.
You
bet. I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
And I have with me here today, right now, the bus driver.
Yes.
And you are, sir?
I am Brent Latshaw. I'm playing James Blake, the bus driver, and I'm looking forward to the reenactment. See how it goes.
Is this your first time?
No, I did this last year. It was a lot of fun. Kind of the same weather. It was a little bit rainy, but we stuck it out, and I think it's for a good cause. I think this really is fun to show folks, what took place.
Did you learn anything last year that was new to you?
I did. I didn't know that that there was a neutral section in the middle of the bus. I figured it was all whites in the front, blacks in the back, but I didn't know that there was a neutral section where folks could sit wherever they wanted to. So that was something new that I picked up, and it was a really tough day, for folks.
Did it spark any rethinking on your part after playing this role?
Yeah, a little bit. I think that there was just some really tough emotions, hard things that people were going through at that time. The bus driver, starts off doing his duty, feeling like this is something that is necessary and has to be done. He's probably on a time schedule. It's winter. It's that time of year where you've got to get things going. And then things just get out of hand and get pretty nasty. So it's unfortunate.
It was a day to remember, I think.
Sure was. Yeah.
Was there parts, I do not know, what role exactly did the bus driver play? And did he?
He was the one who told Rosa that she's got to give up her seat. Even though that she's in this neutral section in the middle of the bus, she needs to move because there are other white passengers who want to sit down and take her seat. And so he's trying to move her back, obviously to the back of the bus. And when she doesn't do that, he yells at her, he berates her, he gets upset, and then he stops the bus and goes and gets a couple of police officers, which you'll see later in the reenactment.
So, in this role of having to berate a person, is that new to you? Was that new to you?
No, but I think as an actor, everyone has gotten to those points of time where they're in a rush hour traffic jam or they're in a hurry to get somewhere.
Sure.
And so you kind of dial up those emotions of frustration. I want to get going. Let's get this over with. And when things don't go the bus driver's way, he stops the bus, he gets upset, and calls the police.
That sounds great. I want to thank you very much for your time.
Auntie, that driver told you to get in the back. You get your sorry black ass in the back of the bus where he told you to, and you know you belong.
We're going to stand right here. And your name, sir?
I'm Mike O'Loughlin.
And Mike, you are going to play a role on this reenactment.
I'll be a passenger that politely and discreetly asks Rosa to move to the back of the bus as the driver had pleasantly requested that she do.
How is this natural kind of to you, or acting like this?
I've acted in quite a few things, plays and television, movies, and so forth. Just do it part-time. I work full-time for an electric company and have to make a living. Acting doesn't make a living in Minnesota.
It does not. Are you? Did you learn anything on this?
Yeah, I was involved in this last year, and we learned a little bit about the term auntie, which I will reference Rosa Parks' character as.
Okay.
And the term auntie is it's almost like using the N-word, which
is.
you don't dare say.
Yes.
But the N-word and auntie were very similar, very derogatory terms, and used in the right way could be a term of endearment as nowadays. But when you holler auntie, you get to the back of the bus. That's like Uncle Tom almost. It's the same equivalency, auntie and uncle. You knew that they didn't belong and they weren't true people.
Ah, that's fascinating. So words have a great deal of meaning.
They did back then.
They did.
Things are changing, and we'll have to adapt to it.
And I have with me,
Thomas Spearnett.
it's going to be easy for me to remember your name, I hope. And you are going to play.
I am the police officer that arrests Rosa Parks.
Yes. And how often have you played this role?
I've only played a police officer one other time. It was for a Valspar commercial, believe it or not.
Okay, so this is the first time you're going to arrest this.
Yes.
Poor.
Yep. My first time here, first time that I'm playing a police officer. It's going to arrest Rosa Parks. So.
Okay. Have you thought about that?
A little bit. I'm just excited to kind of be a part of this event, and because we've read about it in school, and we know a little bit about it, but to be here, to be part of the reenactment is going to be something else.
Are you excited about this kind of thing, the history of it?
I am. I'm nervous, excited.
Sure.
But there's a lot of great people here, so it makes it easier.
It makes it easy. Well, I'm really excited to see your role, and I do hope you get an Academy Award or a nomination anyway.
Some kind of award.
I think you've got it in you someplace. I see that star quality just kind of.
I appreciate that. I get that a lot.
In talking to some people, I met this gentleman, and your name is, sir?
Lyle Rustad. I'm the executive director of the Diversity Foundation of Minnesota.
And in our conversation, you know somebody that this event is about.
Yeah, I met Rosa Parks probably 3 or 4 times, mostly affiliated in Detroit with Congressman Conyers' office. I knew some people that worked with her, and I got to meet Congressman Conyers, and Rosa worked in his office, and so we had a lot of discussion. A couple times we talked at a private party at Congressman Conyers' house in the kitchen, just me and Rosa, for about hour and a half.
Just talking with Rosa?
Oh yeah, just hanging.
Did she ever reminisce about this?
No, we really didn't talk much about the movement. I lived in South Carolina for many years. We touched on living in the South, and I was involved in some integration when I was after Vietnam. I got stationed Fort Jackson, and then I worked with intercity programs in Columbia, South Carolina. And we just talked about, that was during integration, and the problems, and it was nothing. Rosa was a hero to me, a real hero, and I was just really honored to be able to have a chance to talk to her. And I met her through Teddy and Martha Harris, who were musicians that lived had worked with the Supremes and Aretha Franklin and those kinds of people. So I was real honored to meet those people.
Thank you very much for that.
She was a sweetheart. She was just the nicest person. You can't help but have respect for her.
And we thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
And I have with me
Karen Voles,
Karen Voll.
Gwen Ruhoff,
And you ladies are going to be playing
bus passengers.
bus passengers.
Yes.
And have you done this before?
I have not. You have not? I have not. No.
I recognize the glasses from some ads or different things. These are costumes that you picked up from grandma's?
Shopping.
You went shopping?
Yeah. I tried to look for period pieces, and I put it together.
Was it difficult to find?
A little bit, because we're going winter and it's June.
It's
Yeah. So.
and the weather has been so Minnesota.
Yes, it
Aren't you
has.
glad that
Yes, actually, it's lovely today for a winter jacket.
That's great. Do you know much of the history of Rosa Parks with this event?
It's kind of the general story, yeah.
So what was it that made you come out and play these roles, participate?
Well, it's a wonderful, true spirit story, and I'm honored to be part of it.
Did you know about the story?
Oh yes, everybody should. If they don't, they should.
And did you know about the story?
I did know about the story.
And what were your thoughts about that?
Well, it was a big step in our history and a big turnaround for us, and it's just such a positive thing, and I'm glad to be able to celebrate it.
Have you learned anything in this reenactment, or?
I think we will once we've started rolling.
So did you have to read history and read up about Rosa Parks at all, or?
I did anyway, because it was a timepiece, and I wanted to kind of understand a little more and get acquainted with the story again. I mean, you learn it as a child, but then when you grow older, I wanted to know the details a little better, and very interesting.
We're looking forward to your performance, and I hope you do well. And nominations for Academy Awards are due, both of you.